Hello folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today is Friday, November 24th, 2017. Happy Thanksgiving. It's me, Jake Baldino, here to talk about some video game stuff. And there has been stuff going on this week. It is a bit of a slow week because of the holiday. This is a pre-recorded episode on Wednesday just because we wanted to take off for Thanksgiving. But we do have to jump right into it, of course, with more loot box stuff. It wouldn't be a week without talking about this shit. When will this end?
I'm just so tired, Jake.
I'm so tired. I just want everything to be good again. Just make everything better. But it looks like Belgium is one of the first places on the list to try and actually make things better with them taking it to court. We didn't talk about this last week, but amidst all the fervor around Battlefront 2 and its loot box problems, Belgium's Gaming Commission announced that they were launching an investigation into the game and similar games as to whether or not it is predatory gambling. Now, this week, it looks like they've come out with something a little bit more definitive. They have followed up saying that this is not a definitive ruling, but they have come out and publicly stated that they have decided that yes, loot boxes and this form of stuff in video games such as Battlefront 2 is considered gambling to them. Their statement read, "The mixing of money and addiction is gambling. Mixing gambling and gaming, especially at a young age for younger players, is dangerous for the mental health of a child." Now, besides the microtransactions and loot boxes just kind of sucking in general, there was a lot of concern around this being actual unfair gambling being marketed towards children, and it looks like Belgium is moving forward with that. The head of this gaming commission stated that they want to ban this type of thing if you don't know exactly what you are going to purchase. Now, maybe Belgium and maybe other companies will follow how China has made it in their country. You have to know the exact odds and the likelihood of what you will get before paying into it. But otherwise, they are saying that they want these purchases banned outright, and they are looking to pursue this action with other European nations. Now, while I said this wasn't a 100% definitive final ruling or a ban, it is different because I've looked into it, and this commissioner has not made statements before a final ruling in the past, so this to me indicates that it is going to happen. They are going to rule and they are going to take action. Now, on the flip side, in the United States, it's starting to look like politicians are going to be taking action as well. The first being Hawaii Representative Chris Lee, who got on camera and made an official press statement coming out specifically against EA and Battlefront 2, almost to the point where it actually reads like, I think this guy actually plays Battlefront. But he was pretty savage on it. He called it a Star Wars themed online casino designed to lure kids into spending money as a quote-unquote trap. Those are powerful words, and he called for action with his other local representatives, and he said that he was making phone calls to other representatives in other states to band together. He says that this is something that may make more sense being tackled at a state level rather than a federal level. I don't know how effective that will be, but it does seem like things are actually happening. I've kind of reserved some of my opinions. I just wanted to put this story out there for you guys, and I want to hear what you guys think, because generally I think most loot boxes really suck. But how do you feel about the actual governments getting involved? I'm curious to see where this goes, if it goes anywhere, because there is a fine line with regulation with stuff like this, so we'll keep our eyes on it and we'll keep you guys posted. But it looks like governments aren't the only people to get involved. It looks like CD Projekt Red is jumping right into the fold. Now, we were going to talk about a story last week, I think I left it on the cutting room floor, about CD Projekt Red pursuing online components for their upcoming Cyberpunk 2077. It was light on details, but it kind of seemed like they were going to diversify their portfolio and start monetizing their games a bit more aggressively. But CD Projekt Red has apparently caught wind of this because they are very good at getting ahead of things in terms of public relations, and they released this on Twitter. Worry not, when thinking Cyberpunk 2077, think nothing less than The Witcher 3. Huge single-player, open-world, story-driven RPG. No hidden catch, you get what you pay for. No bullshit, just honest gaming like with Wild Hunt. We leave greed to others. You never really expect companies to make statements like this, especially from the official CD Projekt Red Twitter account, but it is cool. They are definitely the cool guys in gaming right now, until they fuck up, and then everybody will hate them. But speaking of game development, the team behind Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Ninja Theory, it was actually a team of 20 people that worked on the game, have come out and announced that the game is officially a success for them. They've sold over 500,000 units, they've made $13 million in revenue, and they released a statement saying that with the state of AAA gaming and the way the stakes are so high and everything is so expensive, they were happy that they were able to have some success creating a AAA quality game at a shorter length, at a lower price point, and still just make a profit. I think that's good because it's an awesome game, and I think they should be applauded for that. But what was nice to see in this statement is that the Ninja Theory team announced that they are going to be putting out their financial data out there available to other developers, and they invited other developers and publishers to combine forces and look at data and look at how things can be done right to essentially change how games are made and not make them just these giant, big spending explosions where every single game company needs to sell 4 million copies of a game just to break even. Now, you know, every week we try and show you guys something fun or hilarious or dumb that somebody has done involving video games, and this week we have a Cuphead cartoon. Now, it's not exactly what you think. It's not like 1930s styles, but it does take the cartoons, the characters, the sound effects, and makes a Ren and Stimpy-esque cartoon, and it's actually pretty hilarious, especially if you're a fan of Ren and Stimpy and like that style of animation. This is cool. It's weird, it's different, it also gives the characters nipples, and I don't know how I feel about that, but it's definitely worth a watch. So like everything else I talk about this week, we linked it in the description. Go check it out. Now, something that I didn't expect to talk about this week, but I'm blown away by this story. This is really cool. Bloodborne. Players who are still chipping away and playing the Chalice dungeons have encountered a new boss. This was a game that was released in early 2015, and people are still discovering new enemies and new things about the game, which I think is amazing. This guy who they discovered was actually seen in a PSX reveal trailer showing off the Chalice dungeons for the first time, which is like a secondary mode, and now someone finally came across him in the game. It has to do with using the multiplayer and using glyphs. It's a little complicated, like everything with Bloodborne and Dark Souls multiplayer kind of is, but finding this has kind of opened up a well to players digging in and trying to find new things. The subreddit is filled with people trying to hunt for clues, trying to hunt for new enemies to pop up. That's just amazing though, and something worth celebrating. 3 years later, people are still finding things in a game. And something I thought was pretty interesting for you PC fans, it looks like Valve is trying to tweak Steam yet again to kind of combat review bombing. Review bombing, for those of you that don't know, is when people have a big problem with a game, they will go on to places like Steam and Metacritic and massively downvote and poorly review the game to get their point across. Now, whether or not this is warranted, sometimes I think it's justified, sometimes I think it's not. Sometimes it may not properly totally represent a game and may confuse people trying to buy it. Well, Steam had a problem with this, and they announced that they're tweaking their algorithm to change essentially how it works. People would go in and find the negative reviews and mark them as helpful multiple times, like thousands and thousands of times. And Steam is now working to make sure that every mark of helpful, if it has been done by someone who is spamming, marking it as helpful, it will matter less. So essentially, they're hoping that this will balance things out a little more. You know, it won't totally, it's not perfect, and people will always be able to do things like this, but they are trying to change it, and I think Steam is always a good microcosm for how game companies try and do weird things like this behind the scenes. It's just interesting to hear their thought process. Also, you guys have been asking me a ton, and we are going to do a Star Wars Battlefront 2 glitch video. It seems like you guys have been getting a lot of them, so there's a link in the description to submit your videos and possibly get them featured in a top 10 glitch video that we're gonna do. So the link's there, go for it. But that's what we got this week. You know, we also have that giveaway we do every single week. You know how it works. There's a link below in the description. You click it, you sign up, you enter once, and then you're entered for good. So that every single week we can go in, close our eyes, and randomly choose one person to win this free console of their choice. And this week's winner is gonna be this person right here. Congratulations, be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, keep an eye on your spam box, because Tom is going to be getting in touch with you soon to figure out how we can send you your console. We're also catching up on some winners, so still keep your eyes peeled. But now we got to talk about what is going on this week. Loot boxes and microtransactions. How do you feel about them? I probably know how you feel about them, to be honest, but the ones that are really considered gambling or are being talked about as gambling, do you think they're really essentially gambling? I also want to know what you guys think about Hellblade. I think Hellblade should be celebrated for the fact that it is a success, and they're actually trying to change the way games are made on the business side. Not only that, Bloodborne, discovering a new enemy, that's crazy. Can you ever think of any other examples where things like that have happened? We have had it in the past, but this is pretty extraordinary. Let's talk about any of this stuff down in the comments. I'll be down there talking to you guys as much as possible, but I'll also be on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino. You probably know where to find me by now. But thank you guys for coming around. Clicking the like button does help us out a ton. It lets us do this and more new videos and more new shows and stuff. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should, because we put out stuff like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.
Hey Jake, who do you think would be more into vaping?
I heard Daxter.
Daxter?
Yeah. No. Yeah, like new Jack, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but Daxter seems like someone who'd be like, yo, check this out. I jacked the ohms up. Check out these sweet e-juices I got. He seems like somebody who'd be wanting to show.
He'd be one of those, like you know the way they always make the jokes about him like compensating for his size? Yeah. He'd have like one of those big ones and he'd be like, hey.
Yeah. I said Daxter's definitely more into modifications.
Yeah, I could see Daxter and Jack both vaping though, if you think about it.
I think Jack would be more into like just blowing fat clouds.
Chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably put a little weed in his vape. He definitely would. What?